Hello, my name's Tony Cardenas, and this is the Indy Real Estate Market Weekly Report. Today I have my good friend Greg Cooper with Compass Real Estate here on the show. How are you doing, Greg?
Doing fantastic, Tony. Great to be here.
Well, I got to tell you something, Greg. When we started the music right before the show, you were kind of like jamming into it.
I was. I will admit I was doing a little air dancing.
You know, Greg, we're getting ready to run into the fall weather here soon. I think the first day of fall's here at the end of the month. And, you know, we're starting to get some cooler mornings and cooler nights, right?
Right.
And it always seems to me a little bit, I know this is kind of different because of COVID and everything, but it always seems to me that the real estate market starts to change a little bit, right?
Yeah, there's seasonality, and it's affecting it in a lot of different ways. You know, certainly the excess demand early in the year as people tried to beat higher mortgage rates took a lot of steam out of the market as we've gotten into later September. There's still buying and selling going on, and it's not a crash or it's not anything like that. It's a little bit of a plateau, but there's a lot of things that are occurring right now that are misconceptions in the market. I mean, you know, you've heard headlines that are all over the place, and really, unless you're looking at the data every day, what's going on in the media is just nonsense in most cases, honestly.
Right, right. Well, here's what I want to talk about. As a realtor out here for Compass Real Estate, what are you seeing? What are customers asking? What are you thinking the market is doing as for a buyer right now?
Well, there's more opportunities, but here's the thing. The right houses are still selling quickly. But in March and April, we had 5 or 6 out of 10 houses that sold quickly. Now, we have 1 out of 10 houses that sells quickly. But if that's the house you want, you still got to step up, because I saw one 2 weeks ago go $40,000 above list in Carmel in a mid $500,000 home. And there were 7 or 8 offers on it. That is not happening on the overwhelming majority of properties, but for the right home that matches the demands of the market, it's still happening. Those houses are still going quick.
Well, you know, it seems to me that it seems to me that houses are still selling relatively quickly. Okay, I mean, we're not to where it takes 6 months to sell a home.
No, definitely not. I mean, the thing is, the data is really deceiving unless you know what you're looking for. For example, the houses that closed in the last 7 days in Carmel were on the market an average of 16 days. The houses that went from listing to pending last week in Carmel did so in 15 days. So everybody thinks, oh, that's still really, really active. But here's the little secret for most people that are active on the market. There are 119 homes on the market currently in Carmel as we record this.
Right.
The average days on the market of those homes is 59 days. The average currently for sale home in Carmel has been on the market 2 months. That's really different than where we were in the spring.
Right. So, you know, I looked at the MIBOR stats for August of 2022, okay? And we're going to go through your stats 100% here in just a second. But you know, the median sale price home in Carmel, from what I'm seeing by MIBOR, is $420,000. For August, there was 567 closed sales, and new listings were 580. Actually, down obviously from July, but you know, you had a lot of stuff come in from May, June, July, closed sales, construction, stuff like that. But it still seems to me that we're in a pretty decent market for a buyer and a seller.
Correct. There's opportunity for everybody out there, but you have to structure what you're doing. You have to be cognizant of what you're doing. You have to be cognizant of not just, this is a house I like, but you have to be cognizant of the fact that is this a house that just came on the market, and are a lot of other people going to be attracted to it? That will mean, if you're a buyer, that you've got to structure that in a certain way.
Greg, if you're listing your home today, I'm going to talk about the Hamilton County, Indy North area. I can't worry about the United States, right?
It's a little broad. It's a little macro.
Right. But here's my question. If you're a buyer selling a home for, you know, $450, $500, even $350, are buyers still getting their homes all ready? Or are they just saying, hey, I still think the market the way it was, we can sell it as is?
So sellers have not yet reached the correct mindset for the market and what it actually is. Buyers understand that inventory is sitting. Sellers haven't gotten there yet. So a lot of sellers are either A, not having their home staged properly, not having the thing in proper condition to get it on the market, and they're going to suffer for that. They're going to languish.
Right. Their house won't sell quick. That could create a price drop.
Correct.
And more days on the market, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go over the Carmel stats 100% again.
So here's the reason that I think that the market's a little bit deceiving. We talked on the days on the market a moment ago, and how the homes that are currently on the market in Carmel have been on the market 59 days on the average. But everybody's saying, oh, the inventory is going up. The inventory is going up. The inventory is not going up right now. It did for a while, and now it's slowed. Now, that doesn't mean that things are still selling quick. Here's what it means. We're seasonal right now. We're in late September. So not as many homes are naturally not coming on the market. But here's the thing. Last week in Carmel, we had 18 new listings. 18. Last week in Carmel, we had 45 homes go under contract. We are at a deficit of 37 active homes on the market in Carmel in the last 7 days. So people who say, oh, the inventory is going... No, not always. Frankly, right now, it might even be sliding the other way, back toward a lesser inventory. It's not a bad thing. It's just a very short moment in time where we're not seeing more come on the market than go under contract.
Right. That's a little dip. And we're also going into the fall season.
Yeah, it's a very different time.
Okay. What was the high and low for Carmel?
The high, 2.25 was the high, and the low was around 200,000, depending upon, what you're looking at. I mean, the older condo market in Carmel is very different than everything else, but that's where the low end of the market is in Carmel.
Okay. Well, I had Kyle Morris with FC Tucker, Simeon Fishers in Noblesville, and what he has for Fishers, at 40 homes went active between the price of $225,000 and $3.495 million, 13 pended, 27 still active, and he has 137 total active listings, and an average over in Fishers. Now, I'm just talking Fishers. His days on market are a little different than Carmel's, but 23 days on market. But I think that's, we're going to have to talk about that number. And then Noblesville, 30 went active, 140,000 to 895,000, 5 pended, 25 still active, and 128 total active listings.
Here's the thing if you're a consumer.
Right.
However long it takes a home to go under contract, that's not the number you're paying attention to right now. Well, what's the average pending days? No, that's not what you're paying attention to. What you're paying attention to is how long has the average listing been on the market.
Right.
If you're active for sale, how long have you been out there? The active listing market in Carmel has been on the market 59. That's a gigantic number compared to what it was in the spring.
Exactly.
And it's not the number. Everybody's saying, well, from listing to pending, it's 18 days. Well, those are just the good homes. Those are the ones that meet the demands of the market perfectly. That's not all homes for sale. All homes for sale is where you need to be looking if you're a home seller, because that's the dynamic in the market that you're going to be involved in if you're putting your home on the market.
Right. And along, here I am looking at the national mortgage rates, but I'm more concerned about our area. You have interest rates, depending on your lender, going anywhere from 5.875% all the way up to 6.47%, subject to loan to value, credit score, and term of loan of a 30-year fixed rate.
Right. Here's the thing. I think we're seeing a temporary spike, and
remember the Fed's talk today, right?
I understand that, but here's the thing. Well, first of all, we both know that the
or tomorrow, I can't remember. I think it's today.
Depending on when people are listening, it may have already happened. We don't know.
That's right.
So here's the thing. So everybody knows that the Federal Reserve's discount rate is not necessarily what interest rates are. However, there is a psychological effect on home mortgage rates.
Bingo.
The more that the Fed raises their discount rate, the more interest rates for home mortgages are going to go into effect. But here's another little thing that nobody's talking about. I think this spike is somewhat temporary, and here's why. There's the projections for the first quarter of 2023 from a number of big lenders have come out. Freddie Mac's projection for interest rates, for home mortgage rates in the first quarter of next year, 5.2%.
For next year.
For next year. So in other words,
we're looking for a price drop. Rate drop.
I think we're looking for a rate drop, and I don't think what we're seeing today is necessarily going to last. So you might ride that a little bit if you're getting ready to get into the housing market as a buyer. Fannie Mae's projected mortgage rate in the first quarter of next year, 4.7. Wells Fargo, 5.1. So these big institutions are saying we're going to come down some, and the reason is they're going to slow the market down by all of this discount rate raising. And the rates will come down because the demand to borrow money will come down.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. As we said early in past shows, 10 past shows, I think it was, you can marry that house and date the rate. People do have the option to go to.
I love that.
Right. You have an option to go a 5-year arm, 7-year arm. People always, I'm not going to say always, but some people will refinance their home between now and 7 years. And here's the funny thing. There are people out there right now that have 2.75% interest rates.
Me.
Right. But I am also seeing people that have 3%, 2.75s, 3.5% interest rates. They're refinancing. Why are they refinancing? Because they're taking their home equities and they're putting them together. Home equity rates are going up and they're putting the loan together to obviously have a lower monthly payment. So people are doing it because what they want to do is they want to cost average themselves out.
Right. Most people that are buying right now, I've got people under contract, I've got people who are looking. They have all accepted the fact that they will probably refinance in the short term.
Absolutely.
And so don't freak out if it's 6 1/8 or 6 1/4 or 5 point, whatever it is. Don't worry about that because you're going to have an opportunity probably next year. You may have you go a few months down the road. You're going to have an opportunity to change that out, and don't discount the adjustable rate mortgages over 3, 5, 7, 10, whatever that. Everybody's got different programs, but don't discount the ARMs, the 3, the 5, the 7, to 10-year ARMs.
Right. Well, Greg, if you were getting ready to list your home right now in the next 60 days, people have to move. Forget the weather.
Well,
forget the schools.
There's weddings, there's passings, there's job changes. People have to move.
That's exactly right. What would you tell a person today that's getting ready to list their home where they say, Greg, hey, this market is hot? You got to go back to them and say, it's not like it was in May and June.
If your home, I'd tell them simply this. If your home is not perfect in meeting the demands of the market, you're going to sit. And when you sit, you use leverage. Therefore, you better stage. You better make it so clean it smells like something you've never been in before. It better look spectacular. Your curb, all of it. You want the best money? You want it to sell quick? And by the way, those two things go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Quicker under contract, the better dollar you're going to get. You better have the home right. Because if you risk sitting and late September, oops, suddenly it's Halloween. And then what? And so, oops, suddenly it's Thanksgiving, and oh my gosh, it's the 15th of December, and we haven't sold, and we have no leverage as a seller.
That's right. And we got Oktoberfest coming up, too. Don't forget about Oktoberfest, Greg. That's not fair.
No, I won't do that.
Oktoberfest is going to be here in Carmel next week.
There could be some adult beverages consumed.
Right. And Greg, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to invite you on the show. I'm getting all the data in for at least the Hamilton County builders, the guys that are have inventory building homes. And it's funny, in some of the builders, I'm starting to see some incentives.
So here's the thing that's really interesting. And it started as, so the brokers kind of see that wave first. The real estate broker, and here's why we say that. Look, builders are in business to make money.
Absolutely.
So their job is to mitigate their expenses, which means they don't want to pay us any more than they have to, which is understandable. I got no problem with that. But here's the thing. From July and August to where we are today, all of a sudden, my inbox is flooded with $5,000 incentives if you're a broker and you bring a buyer, $2,500 incentive, higher percentage of commission if you bring a buyer. So builders, I don't know if they're hurting, but they're motivated.
Well, let me explain something to you. It's funny you said that because, you've been in and out of Sunrise on the Monon down here in South Carmel off of Westfield Boulevard.
Right.
Okay. You couldn't get a home in my area if you tried.
Right.
Okay. And the funny thing is, we have 5 homes for sale right now as of this morning.
That feels like 100 compared to where it's been.
Right. That you couldn't get a home in there that was sitting in for 2 seconds. So we have homes for sale by Old Town Design Group, Sunrise on the Monon.
Right.
If somebody wanted to ask you about one of these homes and some of this new construction inventory, Greg, how could they get a hold of you?
Call or text anytime, 317-441-7166. You can find that at coopergroupcompass.com as well.
Okay. And let's put your email out there too, Greg.
Certainly. greg.cooper@compass.com. Really, if you want to find me, my contact info is super easy. It's just coopergroupcompass.com.
Right. Okay. My name's Tony Cardenas, and this is the Indy Real Estate Market Weekly Update with Greg Cooper. We will talk construction news next week. Thank you for listening.
Holly here, and thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Next week, we are talking about new home construction, actual inventory for sale, and almost ready to move in. Want to contact one of our professional real estate agents on our weekly podcast? Call 317-480-4115. Thank you to Kyle Morris with FC Tucker, Shelly Walters with eXp Realty, Justin Griffith with Keller Williams, and Greg Cooper with Compass Real Estate. This podcast has been sponsored by Executive Portfolio Magazine. Go to www.executiveportfolio.com to see this month's digital magazine.